Do you have a growth mindset, or are you looking at every new change and housing market update as a deterrent to your growth as a brokerage? I spoke with Ryan Michaelis. He is the Chief Growth Strategist for Worth Clark Realty today. And we had a great discussion about how they are growing the brokerage, how their strategy has evolved over the past couple years, and his mindset and the company mindset as far as growth is concerned. So enjoy the podcast and hope you'll learn a great deal. Hi, Ryan. Welcome to the RealTrending podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Why don't you just start by telling me a little bit about your history with real estate, how you came to Worth Clark, and really what your position entails?
Sure. So I've been with the company now for a little over 10 years, actually. Okay. It's kind of hard to believe. I got here just like a lot of us do as a brand new agent. I got my real estate license in Missouri back in 2014. I had a background in property management, and I found Worth Clark wanting to get into real estate sales and thinking I can lean a little bit on that because at the time, Worth Clark did some property management. We don't anymore, but so I got an opportunity there. I, like many agents, was working a full-time job, wife at home, 1-year-old, and, making a transition into a 100% sink or swim type of business was obviously, very scary. But, I got into real estate really working with tenants personally, so kind of new to the area I was in, and I didn't have a bag full of potential buyers and sellers to work with. So that's kind of where I got started. I got an opportunity to work in Worth Clark's property management side of things. And, it really kind of took off from there. And I think we found as a property manager, if you provide a value-driven service, great support, and you answer the phone when people call, you can do pretty well. And we did. So within about a year of joining Worth Clark and getting my license, I found myself in a position where I was extremely busy, getting overwhelmed with phone calls from tenant leads and working with landlord listings, which I think I, at that point was taking the bulk of the lead generation that Worth Clark was providing. And I found myself, needing to grow a team because I was plateauing at that point. And so, we kind of looked internally in Worth Clark and found some options for that. And for the first 5 years at the company, had a very high performing team. I had four to five agents on my team for a while there. And that's kind of the first half of the story, I guess. 2019, we ended up selling off that property management department. Not that for really any other reason that we just wanted to grow the brokerage as a real estate platform. We wanted to grow the real estate side of it. So we had an opportunity and we jumped at it. And I kind of came into the office at that point, got an offer. I was the managing broker here in St. Louis, where I'm at, for a couple of years. Wore the recruiting hat, wore the social media guy hat, the digital marketing, business development hats. And, kind of fast forward to today, I oversee a team that, has those functions. Yeah.
Okay. So are you still selling, or are you just with the executive side of Worth Clark?
More on the management side of things. Yeah. Okay. It's been a few years since I've sold anything, and, looking at all the changes today, I'm kind of, somewhat glad for that, but
yeah. So you are the Chief Growth Strategist. So tell me a little bit about Worth Clark's growth plan, because you are a flat fee company, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So, we look at ourselves as more of a virtual or cloud-enabled real estate platform where agents can tap into exceptional support. That's really our bread and butter. 100% compensation, which features pay-as-you-go or money-saving subscription options for higher producers. We have an optional equity program, a referral program to build passive income. We have our own mobile app designed for in-network referrals and also chat support. And, then many and all of the opportunities you'd want as an agent to build your business. And I guess the 30,000 foot view would be we have, Worth Clark's in 18 states now, and about 80% of that growth has occurred over the last 3.5 years. We have 1,200 agents at the company. And I think, this year RealTrending ranked us as the 39th largest private independent in the U.S.
Yep. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So tell me what, as far as from the recruiting and retention side, because obviously your focus is on recruiting, I assume you don't really have an active M&A business. Am I correct in that?
That's correct. That's correct.
So tell me, has your focus or the way that you're doing your recruiting and retaining agents changed over the years? I know with the market down and now we have these practice and policy changes coming up. Have you, how have you evolved your plan?
Yeah, I think, my team focuses on agent inviting, or, the dirty word for that is recruiting, marketing, market expansion, partner relationships. As I said, many of the hats I've worn at the company, but, we're also on the front lines, hearing what agents want and need. And, that kind of gives us the opportunity to learn about where Worth Clark is doing things right or has opportunities to improve. It filters into really every area of the brokerage and helps us improve. If we get what we offer agents correct and continue to deliver high value to agents, growth will follow. And so there's some main, I guess, areas or categories that we focus on. A lot of it has to do, with our referrals from our own agents and our growth there. Nearly 70% of the agents who join our company are referred to us by our very own agents. And if we have a chance to speak with those agents who are referred to us, 80% of them are joining Worth Clark.
Okay, great. And as far as your plan to expand into other states, is that something you're looking at right now, or is that something that you're moving to eventually?
Yeah, so it's I would call it a little bit more methodical, maybe, a little more well intentioned as far as our market expansion goes. Over the past 3.5 years, where most of that growth has occurred, it's been about 3 to 4 new states every year, and depending on the state, you get a large market or 2 or 3 or 4, like Texas or more, like Florida. So I think we'll continue to kind of go down that path. And for the agents we speak with, some of those business building opportunities involve ensuring we offer vetted broker lead programs for agents to participate in. We create mentorship opportunities for experienced agents and training for those new to the business. Team building is one of our more popular trainings that we provide. We have very attractive compensation plans for teams. We're very flexible when it comes to branding and have many teams at Worth Clark. I personally run a team building 101 training each week that's generally well attended. And then I guess our latest undertaking and where we're seeing some success has been to create a pathway for broker owners to walk their team over to Worth Clark and shed the headaches and costs that go hand in hand with brokerage ownership, and that essentially gives them their time back to focus on more important revenue generating activities, further grow their business. There's an appetite for it we found in the current market. And, some of those specific things that we can help broker owners alleviate would be office rent, utilities, staffing, insurance, technology, recruiting, onboarding, compliance, commission fundings and accounting, just kind of all those things that happen on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, great. Let's talk a little bit about the NAR settlement. What have you found to be your biggest challenge or the agent's biggest challenge when implementing the new changes, which are coming up in a week?
Very fast.
Yes.
Well, like in any big change, there's some confusion and misinformation that happens and probably a bit of fear, making sure we have clear and accurate answers and support when the agent needs it is critical. We've got a ton of ongoing training and resources available for our agents on top of what their local MLS or other outlets may be offering. We're certainly fans of transparency for consumers, for sure. But it's going to take a little time, for folks to get comfortable with the new normal. We feel good about our ability to support and guide our agents through the changes, though.
Have you found that, I don't know, like some of the states you're in might have already been getting buyer agreements signed, but have you found that it's been difficult for agents to kind of develop their buyer consultation presentation or get those forms signed. I've heard mixed reviews from people about it. I've heard some people say it's really not a big deal. I don't know why we're making it a big deal. And then I've heard some agents who are like, I've lost, 3 buyers who refused to sign the agreement with me for showing.
Yeah, it's very market specific. We found, there's a couple of our markets already that have completely eliminated the co-op compensation in the MLS, removed it completely from, agreements, and some markets that have not totally. But I think for us, it's just, we feel the training that we're offering, which is often, we're doing once and twice a week, depending on market specific items. Trainings with our agents, our managing brokers have been a huge help for us with that. But I think a lot of it has to do, is guiding the agent and making training available to them to take advantage of. We've tried to get in front of it in other ways, with buyer presentations and trying to help the agent explain to the client exactly what's going on and what their options are. And I really, truly think that's helped a lot.
And are you using the association forms in all the states you're in, or did you guys develop your own forms?
We haven't made any changes from moving from association forms at this point. We've seen some companies do that here recently. So could we consider it? Sure. But we haven't made any changes.
Okay, great. And how do you feel like this is going to impact buyers and sellers? Have you seen any impacts yet, in your company?
Sure. We think initially it's going to create some confusion, like I mentioned, for them, but ultimately we hope the changes provide additional transparency that truly benefits customers. We do have real concerns on first-time buyers and those who are really fighting tooth and nail to afford a home. We don't think it's in the interest of most buyers to try and represent themselves in such a high dollar and complex transaction. So we think that's a risk for a buyer who potentially can't afford representation and may love a home where a seller chooses to not provide any concessions in that area.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this ends up playing out. And I think it's going to be definitely area by area, state by state, how it plays out. So yeah, I'm interested to see that. And as a kind of a flat fee model, you rely on the number of agents that you're bringing into your company to do these transactions as well. So, do you see that this change really impacting your model at all? Or, has the market really impacted your model positively or negatively?
I don't see, the changes impacting much of what we do around here. We're the home for agents that want to be great at helping customers buy and sell. No gimmicks, no downlines, 100% commission, great technology, support, and resources to help them grow. We're not the home for every agent or team, and there certainly are many competitors we respect, but we think our approach attracts the kind of agent that wants their core real estate business to thrive. We'll also continue to expand geographically and add resources that help productive agents grow their business. And, I'm happy to say it's working. We actually had a record 2023, and that moment is spilling into 2024 as well. I think evidence can be seen in our transaction growth. Our 2024 Q1 transaction growth clocked in at 12% year over year, followed by 13% this past quarter, when the market was overall down 3% in each quarter. So much of the success we're seeing with transaction growth, I think, can be tied directly to our recruiting efforts, attracting our ideal agent, and having those opportunities available for our current agents to grow.
Yeah, that's amazing growth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel like the flat fee company of yesterday is not the flat fee company of today. It used to be,
correct.
No services, just come, you get your commission, but you're kind of on your own. And I've really seen a maturity, or I don't want to say maturity, it's just a development or an evolution of that model in the market over the years.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents would look at joining a flat fee brokerage as, okay, well, I'm getting less. Well, I'm getting less support. I'm getting less resources. So, here at Worth Clark, we with as much as we're focused on growth, we talk to hundreds and hundreds of agents throughout the year, and personally, I think I've found that in general, real estate agents don't proactively look to switch brokerages for things like you would think of: compensation, better technology, better resources. We find actually that most agents are speaking with us because of one too many poor support experiences at their brokerage. And so that's why we focus so much time on providing really good support, because we know if we can keep agents happy, they're going to stay with us. And we've proven that. So that's kind of been our mindset. That's what we hear a lot from agents. So that definitely won't change, providing great support for agents to thrive.
That's great. And I agree with you. We've done studies on that. Brokers assume it's compensation, and it's really not. It's important, of course, but
sure.
It's not the only reason that they change. And it's not always the impetus for change either. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it is. We ask agents when they join why they join, and it is the number one reason why they join Worth Clark by leaps and bounds. But right behind that is there's an agent at Worth Clark they trust. We're not the largest brokerage out there. We don't try to just be the largest by agent count. We try to grow our brokerage with the right type of agent. With that and the market expansion, we've seen other reasons why agents join the brokerage, as reputation is a newer one. A lot of that has to do with the agent they trust, but also the optics on market expansion. The ranking as a top brokerage in the United States. So that's been welcome to see, because I've grown from Worth Clark when we had 20, 30 agents and we were in one market. Now we're in 18 states and 1,200 agents. So I've heard nobody knows about you, and I've never heard of Worth Clark and all that. And at the end of the day, really only 1% of clients actually care who the brokerage is. I mean, NAR does a home buyers and sellers report every year, and we can see this. So it's ultimately for the agent what you can provide, what level of service that your brokerage affords you to be able to do. And we feel like we do as good a job as any in that regard.
And how do you scale that as you grow?
Good question. I think we're learning every day, and I think it's just you put a plan in place. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you quickly adapt and follow a new plan. We're trying to do things around here that are always moving the needle. And when we find an area that works, we react. We implement personnel in areas that we feel will help us continue to grow. So I see that continuing.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the future of real estate. What are you most excited about as it pertains to the future? Maybe like the next year.
Well, we love helping people buy and sell homes. We think any change aimed at making that process better for consumers is exciting. And really for us and Worth Clark, we think our model is such a great fit for this time in the industry. We really do. Authentic, high-value brokerage services that allow agents to keep 100% of their commission and provide them flexibility to run their business.
Okay, so you've been on both sides. You've been on the selling side and you've been on the executive side now. What have you found to be your maybe one or two impactful leadership lessons over the years?
I thought about this question, and there's probably a lot I could pick from, but for me, really being transparent. If you're transparent as a leader or company and you treat people with respect, achieving goals will typically follow. Not every time, though. So you need to be able to admit when you're wrong and move on from ideas and things that don't move the needle. But if you follow this approach, I believe you'll be better for that, and you're going to have more wins than losses.
Do you have a specific example of a time that, maybe you didn't handle it well and you learned a lesson from that, kind of failed forward?
Recruiting is tough. It's a really hard thing to do. Nobody wants to be recruited. Who wants to get a call from a salesperson asking them to switch real estate companies, right? Nobody wants that. Real estate, unfortunately, has kind of had that, correlation with, car sales and, a used car salesman, unfortunately. So, I think what we've been always able to do well is have a non-salesy approach, no pressure. And there's definitely ways you try to reach agents, and it's just like being an agent. You're trying to stay in front of your sphere. You're trying to make folks aware of you and your value propositions. But I think maybe the best lesson is, when you learn something isn't effective, you move on from it, and you don't spend your time and resources dwelling on what you thought maybe was a good idea, and you focus on something else.
All right. The next one, I am going to push you to give me a personal example. So, I usually, there are a lot of aha moments in a career, obviously. So tell me what your most impactful aha moment has been, whether it's personal or professional.
Yeah, I may disappoint here as far as a specific aha moment, but, I can't say that something sticks out. I've personally experienced successes as a producing agent, running a high-performing team in the past. There are some wins there for sure. Over the past half decade, my roles have mainly involved helping Worth Clark grow, and growing, as I said, growing a brokerage and recruiting agents is really hard work. But maybe the aha moment for me was, when I was in that world, realizing how similar it was to being a good real estate agent. If you take a non-salesy approach, are consistent, stay in front of your sphere, and offer the best value and support to your customers and clients, well, as an agent, you're going to win. Same goes for growing a brokerage. Sure, we've had our challenges just like any brokerage in growth mode, but if you translate much of what it takes to be a successful real estate agent into the area I operate in, stay consistent, do the work, you'll reap the benefits. So I think realizing that for me was my biggest aha moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Great insight. And my final question is just, where do you see the most opportunity in the market moving into the end of this year, early 2025?
Well, look, we try not to hang on every market tea leaf because, goodness, look at that couple of years. Nobody called how tough the market was going to be. Nobody predicted a global pandemic before that. So sure, we try to make smart decisions based on some very broad trends or expand to areas geographically that makes the most sense for Worth Clark. But really, we'd rather spend our time and focused on customers and how to help them grow. At the end of the day, it's what we can control. And again, if we get it right, probably means we just don't need to worry about market forces as much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, thanks so much for joining the RealTrending podcast. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Tracey.